Today I wanted to show you how to graph an equation when it looks a certain way. What we're going to look for is if the y is all by itself on one side and then you have something with an x and a whole number is being added to it. This is called slope-intercept form, and it shows you what the slope of the line is and the intercept just by looking at it. You know, when you're looking for an intercept, you have to plug in 0. So when you do that, you know that the y-intercept is 0, 1, just by looking at it. I kind of like to just block that out. I'd cover it up with my finger, but you can't see that on the video. The other number that you don't really know much about yet is this number that is multiplying x. This is your slope. And slope refers to how slanty a line is and what the slant of it is. And it's rise, which is your y's up and down, rise is up and down, over your run. And by run, they mean your x. They mean right and left. And with rise, they mean up and down, which is your y coordinate. So we're going to play around with this a little bit. I am going to maybe move this rise over run up here so we can continue to refer to that when we use this equation. So how do you use this to help you graph? First thing we're going to do is we're going to graph this point, the intercept. So we go over 0 and we only go up 1. From there, I know I need rise over run and all I have is a whole number. Well, good thing we know about making whole numbers into fraction form. You put them over 1, which means you rise up 2 lines or 2 points and you run over 1. So I'm going to rise from here. I'm going to go 1, 2, and then from here I'm going to go over 1. Now, I wouldn't have all that on my graph, but just to show you, I went up 1, 2, and then I went up 2, and from here I went over 1, but down there where it was only 1. Just going to let you look at that for a second. I have some more examples. It'll take a couple times seeing this to go ahead and start to feel really comfortable and kind of get what I'm doing. Let's take a look at my next equation that I have for you. It's under here. It's very similar. You can start already writing down on your graph paper that you were given before this started what your y-intercept is. If x is 0, this goes away. Y clearly equals 2. And here's your slope. And remember, we put it over a whole number. I'm sorry, we put the whole number over 1 if there's nothing else there. We're going to come to our graph, plot the point of your intercept. And we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, and over 1 from the intercept. So, whoops, that is not the straightest line ever drawn. We're just going to pretend that it is. It's all great and perfect when you have whole numbers and everything's positive. Sometimes, most of the time, you will get a fraction form, so you don't have to worry about putting the whole number over 1. If you want, pause the video, try to graph this on your own, and then push play when you're ready to see what the answer is. There's your intercept and your slope from there is up 2 over 3. So I'm going to go up 1, 2 over 1, 2, 3. And if you look at this point is 3, 6. If you were to plug those values back in here, you would see that you're going to get the value, or you're going to get a true statement. So what that would look like is 6 equals 2/3 times 3 plus 4. You're going to cross cancel those, and you're going to end up with 2 plus 4, which is indeed 6. So that point is most definitely on the line. This has been all fun and great so far because everything has been positive, and I know you always say, well, when we get our homework, there's negatives. So let's do a couple with some negatives. This next one here is similar to the last one we did. It's just the 4 is negative instead of positive. So let's start with an easy one like that. Make these in place. Again, go ahead, pause the video, see if you can graph this equation without plotting a t-chart and plugging in. Just go ahead and get your intercept and count up 2 over 3 from there. So, -4 this time, because when that stuff goes away, I kind of scribbled on my negative sign a little bit. The sign stays with that number. So now I'm down here where y is -4. From that -4, I'm going to go up 1, 2. I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3. And there is my point and my line. You can still do the t-chart. Check your points. You're still going to get the same answer for this. It's going to be weird to put this in because then you're going to have to divide both sides by 2/3. And I know you like to avoid fractions. So maybe you want to put something in, like I showed you last time, the 3. And you'll be able to cancel. You'd get -2 this time, which is where we ended up right here. If you look, I went over 1, 2, 3, and down 1, 2. And that checks out. What if they're both negative? Now, this is what we're going to look at. If you were standing, here I have this little lumberjack guy. For some reason, he looks very angry. If you are going to go for a walk and you are walking from left to right, same way you read, and you hit the slope, he would be going uphill. And the numbers are positive when you go up. If he was walking from left to right and started going downhill, that would be a negative slope. So let's put our angry lumberjack away. Sorry, I almost didn't say that word correctly. We'll put our angry lumberjack away for a moment and actually work with an equation that has a negative slope. Nope, there's 2 of them. We'll put that away for a second. Let's work with this one here, okay? You can see your y-intercept right there. Now it's negative, so what does that mean? Remember when I said to think about the y as a thermometer? Negative numbers are down. So when you see a negative slope, you're going to go down 3. You're still going to go over 1 because this is -3 over 1. So from here, let's go down 1, 2, 3 over 1. And you can see if our angry lumberjack decided to go for a walk, he would most definitely be going downhill. A very steep hill at that. So that's a negative slope. You're going downhill. Try this one on your own. Go ahead, pause the video. Graph it on your graphing paper. And check back here when you're done. Okay. My intercept is at -4. From there, I'm going to go down 1, 2, over 1, 2, 3. Your line should look like this. Angry lumberjack will go down the hill because it's a negative slope. For today's Math Excel assignment, you do not have to use this method. I just wanted you to know that it is an option for you instead of using a t-chart. If ever you see slope-intercept form, which is where the y is all by itself and everything's on the other side, you can go ahead, plot your intercept, and then just count up and over or down and over to get your second point. You don't have to worry about plugging in and solving anymore.